So,
okay.
You want to update everyone on what you're doing here?
I really don't want to update, and I was actually doing this off camera because I'm over here swearing up a storm. If you guys have ever dealt with exhaust products before, you know that a lot of times because of all the heat cycling, bolts break and get sheared off inside of the cast iron products. All three of these provisions have a bolt broken off inside of them. Now, I've tried stud extractors, I've tried all the traditional ways of removing them, because I know you guys are gonna tell me how to do it. All of my stud extractors have actually broken inside of here. I'm going back and re-drilling the holes to an M8125 and re-threading them. So far I've got one done, I'm halfway through the second one, and I've got a third one to do. All right, well, Big Jeff just tossed a couple coats of the high temp flat black after I drilled out these broken bolts. And now we're gonna let it dry for a little bit. But let me show you guys what I've been up to while Big Jeff was painting this. I stopped by our friends at Crown Performance this morning and picked up a slew of fittings, some -6 hose, and some thermal barrier for the hose as well. And I re-studded this, so we've got 5 new studs on here. And this goes between the part that we just painted and this. Picked up some new nuts to go on here as well. And we also went ahead and did the side that mounts to the manifold. So we got our gasket from Pure here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start bolting this together, and then we can get it back on the car. All right, well, as you guys know, this car had a pyrometer on it which measures the exhaust gas temperature as it comes out of the cylinder head. So we need to put this back into our stock manifold. So we're gonna actually put it here between cylinders 1 and 2 because these cylinders on 4G63s are known to run leaner than the other 2. So this will give us an advanced warning if we start seeing some lean situations where the exhaust gas temperature is gonna go up, and maybe give us a heads up so we can kill the engine before we actually hurt anything. But in order to do so, we need to drill this manifold and tap it with an 1/8 inch NPT tap, which I have in my toolbox. I'm gonna pull this back off. I'm gonna undo the water lines we've already made. And we're gonna drill this out on the bench because what we don't wanna do is drill it and have any metal particulate fall into our brand new turbo because that will hurt the turbo. One of the things I was worried about with the pyrometer was that it was going to stick out too far towards the radiator, because mind you, the radiator is not even in here yet, and these 1/8 inch NPT fittings don't always go all the way into, or they almost never go all the way into what you're applying them to. So we've got a bit of length here. I was worried that it was going to stick out too far, but as you can see, our actuator for our wastegate is actually sticking out further towards the radiator than this is. So we know that we will be able to fit our radiator and fan in here. Ordered up a stainless steel heat shield. This is a really thick stainless steel. It's got a couple welds here. A nice finished look on here once it's all done. What's cool is our O2 sensor actually fits right underneath it. So we'll probably just make a little notch so we have a little bit of clearance. We'll be able to bolt this on, and as you can see, it's gonna look pretty nice.
Okay, so I'm back, and today I'm actually gonna be spray painting the valve cover, and we're gonna spray paint it the same color as the wheels. All I gotta do now is just spray. Hello. All right, so I'm gonna be reinstalling the valve cover after we painted it, and we got a brand new gasket seal in there.
We're making some serious headway on this. We did a poll asking what you guys thought we should do with the valve cover. We got a lot of wrinkle black, we got a lot of gray, we got a lot of people saying fluoro orange. We ended up selecting the gray that's on the wheels because we wanted to basically marry the outside of the car to the engine bay. And so we're gonna continue with that gray, fluoro orange, black, and blue theme.
Ooh, check this out.
Oh, hey.
Some Downstar. Oh, it's gonna fall everywhere. Just
Some Franks. Put it on here.
Ah, Mickey, I told you not to put it there.
Dude. That's on you, man.
Alright, so right now we're gonna install the carbon fiber cover for the cam gears. And
Oh, we put some special
you can't see the carbon?
so Ricky can't screw this up because he's on one today. On Friday, I actually stayed a little late and modified our lower intercooler piping. So this has a really nice stainless steel TIG welded piping system on it from the previous intercooler, but that went to the old exhaust system or header from the ram horn that was on here. Now we need to mate it to our new OEM turbo pipe back to the intercooler, and so the difference is quite a lot actually. That piece used to be really long and had a different bend that it had on it. So what we needed to do was actually section the piece. It was already plenty long, so I could actually take it, cut it up into sections, and put it all together and make it work with our new setup that's going to be on here. So Evan is now basically gluing it back together where I made all the cuts, and we should be able to button this up today. We just went ahead and tossed the pipe that Ev welded back in. Looks pretty good. It's exactly the angle we wanted and the curve that we wanted to get up into the turbo pipe. Hot side through the intercooler, cools the air charge back up into the throttle body. One thing I have to confess to you guys, I screwed up. And I delayed us getting this engine bay done by a whole day because I chose the wrong radiator. So I had to wait a whole day. That's the beauty of throtl parts. If you guys are into ordering car parts and you want them quick, throtl is fast. We got it the next day. The problem is Ricky and I had already prepped this wrong radiator to go in the car. As you can see, we scuffed the top tank and painted it black. It turned out really nice. Once the new radiator showed up today, you can see here's the box. I went ahead and got it prepped. I've already got it all painted up. Top's already all done. Look where the wastegate is. Look how close that is. So one little trick that I like to do is, if you've ever worked on an older 90s Japanese car, or most cars for that matter, they usually have a foam seal. And in here you can see like an old foam seal that's in here between the AC condenser and the core support. It's sort of a cheap way to create airflow to keep it going over the fins of whatever you're trying to cool. All right, well this car had an intake system on it already, and it was basically just an S-shaped cold air like inlet pipe with an old school, basically an engine oiled air filter, and it's seen better days. You can see it's pretty ratty. And one thing, when I test fitted this in our RPG carbon box, I didn't like the overall length. So we're gonna sacrifice some of this airflow that's gonna be able to pass through the bigger filter for this smaller filter. This K&N filter is spec'd the same as the engine filter, but it's not quite as long. It's 3.5 inches versus 5 inches. This pipe, basically I remade, I took it out, it had a hole in it right here, I welded that up, and then sanded it all down, scotch braided it, repainted it, and then I moved our catch can pickup under here. So this is catch can bypass air that goes in there. Then we've got a vacuum port down here that I added as well. It's probably very difficult to see, but I put those on the bottom of this pipe. So when you see this pipe, it just looks nice and smooth, and it transitions out of our turbo and is gonna bring in nice cold air from our RPG airbox. And now I can worry about getting the airbox in this location and bolted in. It's been a couple of days since we've been able to do that, so I'm very happy to be finally putting this in for the hopefully last time.
So you guys just saw me filling up the Evo with fresh oil, fresh coolant, and I just unplugged the fuel pump relay fuse inside the car. That's because we want to make sure that we're going to prime this new turbo. We don't want to wreck it. So we're going to crank the car, allow oil to get flowing through all the lines. Once that's done, then we'll be able to start the car and cross our fingers that everything's put back together, which I'm sure will be fine. Mickey puts these on the cars just to make sure that no one would have started this car, because you will wreck that motor real quick without any oil. Do one more. All right, it's a good sign. Smoke you're seeing is just all the paint, like the barbecue paint or the high temp paint and the oils that are underneath the heat shield. Everything's brand new. You also have new oil seals in the turbo too. I also wanted to say all the gauges on the inside are working. So far so good. right, that's it. The new pure turbo setup is on. Mickey and Ricky killed it. I love the color combinations. That's where we're gonna cut it off for today's video. In the next video, you're actually gonna see this car on the dyno. I'm excited to see how much power it puts down. Now, if you guys have been following our builds for a while, you know that we pretty much get it set up so that the new owner can do whatever they want to it. So we're not going to be maxing this thing out on the dyno. We're gonna be setting it up with a nice, solid, conservative tune so that whoever wins the car in less than 2 weeks can do whatever they want. If they want to raise the boost and go crazy, if they want to turn it into a track car, they can do that as well. So huge thank you to you guys for sticking around all the way to the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. And remember that one of you guys is going to be taking home this Evo very soon. So at the end of September, the sweepstakes close. That's it, guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one. Later.
Ooh, check this out.
Oh, hey.
Some Downstar.
Some Frank.
Oh, it's gonna fall everywhere. Just
Some Franks. Put it on here.
ah, Mickey, I told you not to put it there.
Dude. That's on you, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Just yard sailed it everywhere. Not only is it the black ones, it's the silver ones. So now we have to sort them.
Nah, we're good.
Left hand silver, black hand black.
Left hand.
Oh my God.
Let me bring the car up.
Wow.
It'll be easier.
Wow.
Can't take you nowhere, mate.
Oh, awesome. What is this from?
Oh, the PVC.
PCV? Sure. In charge. PVC, you building a plumbing set over here or what?
Whatever, you know what I mean. Home Depot, Lowe's.
Are you gonna put that thing on today or are you just
Can't.
gonna stare at
I
it?
gotta clean that.